This is your 20-minute podcast, where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now, here's your host, David Brower.
Hi, this is David Brower with your 20-minute podcast, and our special guest today from Sebring, Florida, is Hugh Liddle, the sales wizard at Redcap Sales Coaching and Elite Sales Academy. Good morning from me. Good afternoon to you. How are you, Hugh?
Hey, doing well, David. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Hey, you're very welcome. The thing that caught my attention when I was looking at your profile was you're the author of the book, Take the Icky and Scary Out of Sales, which I used to train salespeople for a long time in the radio business, and boy, I wish I would have had that book.
Well, sales has changed a tremendous amount over the last 10 years. And the very first big sales seminar that I ever went to was in a big arena in San Jose, California, a whole string of different speakers that they had come across the stage. And one of them came out on the stage and walked up and looked at the 6,000 or 7,000 people out there and put his hand in his pocket. And he said, your prospects have your money in their pockets, and your job is to do everything short of going to jail to get the money out of their pockets and into yours. And that's how sales was taught, and unfortunately how it was practiced for many, many years. That was 1972.
Yep, I believe
that I had that experience. Well, it's changed now. And it's a much easier, gentler, more friendly, more relationship-oriented process. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness is absolutely right. So you teach people how to make selling easy and fun and profitable. And it says here, alternative health professionals and coaches who hire you double their sales and incomes in 90 days or less. How do you make that happen?
By teaching people what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. Because the biggest challenge that salespeople have is fearfulness and lack of confidence when they go into a sales conversation.
Yeah.
And once they know what to say and how to say it, and when to say the different things that they're going to say, they can approach the sales conversation with total confidence. And it doesn't make any difference whether they're talking to the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or mom and dad down the street. They can have confidence, and you see there's an energy that passes between a salesperson and their prospect, and we receive back from the prospect exactly the energy that we put out. So if we're hesitant and nervous and we don't know exactly what to say, then our prospects are going to be hesitant and nervous, and it's unlikely that they're going to buy from us. If we approach them with confidence and we're relaxed and we're friendly and we know what we're going to say and we ask great questions and we're interested in them and we just have a great time together, the chances of them buying is so much higher. And I've had just client after client either meet or exceed the double your sales and your income in 90 days or less. In fact, some have done it in a month or two.
Wow.
So I'm so confident that people can do that if they do what I teach them to do, that I guarantee it.
That's terrific. Yeah, if they do everything that you teach them. So there's a system, obviously, but there's also salespeople in it. I mean, relationships are the most important thing in life anyway, and especially in today's sales arenas. But they also have, one of the things that I always taught salespeople was, you have two ears and one mouth. Use them proportionately.
That is absolutely true. And so often salespeople make the mistake of doing some research, or they're used to working with a certain type of company or a certain type of prospect, and they make the assumption that everybody needs their product or service.
Right.
Or that they know what everybody's problems are. And we get ourselves into trouble when we assume that. The fact of the matter is that our prospects are the only ones who really know what's going on with them. They know what their challenges are. They know how they feel about things. They know what they think. They know what their goals are. And we don't know any of that until we ask good open-ended questions and start gathering information from them. And then if they do have a problem or they do have a goal that we can help with, if our product or service will work for them, then if we can clearly talk with them about what's in it for them if they do business with us, most of the time we have a new client.
Makes perfect sense. And that approach that you're talking about is absolutely fabulous. I mean, you have to have a way to build confidence fairly quickly in order for a stranger, a new prospect, to start opening up to you, right?
Well, you really do. And the famous phrase now, and I think it was Jeffrey Gitomer maybe who coined this, people don't want to be sold, but they want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's absolutely true. And so building rapport and relationship is giving your prospective client the opportunity to know you, like you, and trust you. And you do that by finding common ground with them. And again, it's asking good questions and being interested in them, and then finding that common ground that you have with them.
So how did you get your start to become the sales wizard? What brought where was your experience and epiphany to kind of move into this valuable place?
Well, of course, the name The Sales Wizard is one that I gave myself, and it might strike some people as arrogant, but really it's exactly the opposite, because the reason that I call myself The Sales Wizard is because I've been selling for 46 years. And the beginning years of that process were not profitable in the least, because I had no idea what I was doing when I first started selling. I got my first sales job and I thought I was just going to make money hand over fist and it was going to be wonderful. And what I found out very, very quickly is I didn't have the foggiest notion of how to sell. And I went through quite a long period of time where I heard no almost all the time. And the only thing that I had going for me was that I refused to quit. So I learned the process as I went along, and then I got some mentors that helped me along the way, and I learned more and more, and finally I got absolutely tremendous at it. And now the people that I work with can become sales wizards in their own right without going through all of the pain and agony and no's and frustration and disappointment and all of the stuff that I had to go through at the beginning of my career in order to learn how to sell properly. They can, in a very short period of time, 90 days or less, they can get absolutely tremendous at the process of selling.
Well, having those mistakes, as you look back, having those mistakes is really what helped make you the wizard now, right?
Well, what people learn when they work with me is not just stuff out of a textbook or a college course or somebody's program that they set up. They're getting real life experience that came from being out in the field year after year and selling a variety of different products and services over the years. So I teach what I learned from experience, and also the things that I learned from mentors and from books and from CDs and DVDs and all those kinds of things.
So you're always learning, I would assume.
Actually, I have a sales coach.
Good.
That I work with. and yeah, you gotta stay on the cutting edge. If you're teaching other people, you've got to continually learn and grow so that you can pass those things along to the people that you're teaching.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because if you're only giving out or not taking in, it's hard to stay current, probably hard to stay motivated, because then you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Absolutely.
So do you take on individual salespeople? Do you take on sales groups? How do you attract your students, for lack of a better term?
The people that I market to primarily are coaches of various kinds and chiropractors and other alternative health professionals. I can work with anybody who's in a service-oriented business, but those are the folks that I really love to work with and the folks that I've had great success coaching and that I have the most fun with. So my criteria for working with somebody, and it doesn't make any difference whether it's an individual salesperson or whether it's a team, the people that I want to work with are, first of all, people who are really motivated to change and get really good at what they're doing. I want to work with people who are coachable, who actually will take the things they learn from me and put them into action and actually do them. And the thing that's the deal killer sometimes, the people that I don't want to work with are the people who don't have a sense of humor. So if I tell a joke and they don't laugh, that's it.
They're out.
I just don't work with them anymore. Life is way too short to not have fun doing what you do most of the day.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So let me ask you this. Speaking of that, because humor is very important, having some kind of sense of what the big picture is and using your training to, help them get there. Do you vet your students before you work with them? Do you interview them for half hour and figure out whether they're really going to be a good fit or not?
Actually, we talk for a whole hour. And I actually have an offer for the folks who listen to your show. And that is that if they'd like to have an hour with me to pick my brain, ask questions, get some really good sales tips, strategies, and ideas, I will make an hour of my time available to them. And there's no strings attached. There's no charge for that hour. There's no obligation, and there's absolutely no pressure for them to go any further than that. At the end of our time together, if they want to talk about having me coach them on an ongoing basis, and if I feel like they're really a good person that I really would like to coach, then we can have a conversation about that. If not, if they don't really have an interest in ongoing coaching, or if I feel like I really can't help them, I might suggest some alternatives to them, and they go on their way, and they can take the things they learn from me and apply them in their business and hopefully do well. So that's sort of the way that I work with people to start with, just to find out whether my coaching is a good fit for them or whether it's not, and whether they're a good fit for me as a client or whether they're not.
You got to have a way to create a win-win opportunity, and that sounds just absolutely streamlined, simple, easy in, easy out. That's a great idea.
And unless they don't like red hats, we really do have a lot of fun.
Well, that's my next question. Does every graduating student get a red hat?
Not all of them. I've done that some. But not everybody, no. They can afford to buy their own red hat by the time I get finished with them.
Especially after 90 days, they can afford a whole lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And what a gift to be able to go through all those struggles, all those learning opportunities, all that great success, and then get into a position where you can pay it forward and have fun doing that.
You bet.
Well, let's talk about the important stuff. Your wife, Priscilla, Jasmine the dog, Mooch and Minnie the cats. You got grandkids, you got great grandkids. I mean, you're not only working hard, you're playing hard. You got some balance in your life, it sounds like.
We really do. And we love Florida, and there's just all kinds of great things to do here. My wife, Priscilla, is an absolutely tremendous wildlife and landscape photographer. So we go on day trips, and I chauffeur, and she takes pictures. And
boy, you're in the right place of the world to do that, aren't you?
We are. Over Christmas break, we were over on Sanibel Island for a few days and went to the bird sanctuary there. And Priscilla had been trying for 5 years to get a picture of a roseate spoonbill, which is a pink bird, kind of like a flamingo.
Okay.
Never had been able to get a picture of one, and she got a picture of one rising up out of the water from the back.
Gosh.
And it looked like a pink angel, and she got the reflection in the water, and that made her entire holiday.
Right? Oh, my gosh. So does she publish those?
She does. She has a website called naturesbeautyphotography.biz. And you can take a look at her portfolio there, and you can arrange to download things to print if you'd like to do that.
Nice. How do people get a hold of you, sales wizard, to take advantage of your 1 hour consultation and free tips, if you will, and learn more about your sales process?
All they have to do is go to bit.ly, that's bit.ly/wizard-strategy. And that's my calendar.
Nice.
And they can just find a time that's available that works for them and schedule it for themselves. And I'll be there to have a chat with them virtually and talk about their business and their sales.
Great. Repeat that. bit.ly/wizard-strategy.
Awesome.
That is terrific. Well, it's such fun to talk to great salespeople and sales trainers, and you certainly are the sales wizard, and I'm glad you wear that, pardon the pun, I'm glad you wear that hat proudly. So you're not affiliated with the Red Hat Society, I assume?
No, sir, but anytime that I go in a restaurant and they're there, I go over and say hello, and they always invite me to join in.
Nice. As long as they don't ask you to put on the purple dress.
That's right. Well, David, I really appreciate you having me on the show today, and I want all of your listeners to remember that a salesperson's job is not to talk people into doing what the salesperson wants them to do. It's to help your prospect do what they want to do.
Well said. And don't forget, folks, he's the author of Take the Icky and Scary Out of Sales, which is available in paperback or Kindle versions at Amazon.com. Hugh, thank you so much. Have a very enjoyable rest of your week.
Thanks, David. This was a ton of fun. I appreciate it.
Until next time, don't forget to download your free audiobook at audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast. That's audibletrial.com/your 20-minute podcast for your free audiobook. And thanks for listening to Your 20-Minute Podcast with David Brower.